Let me see here.
And we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And the gentleman that I'm speaking with today, Ed Presnillo, is leading an exceptional life. You'll see in this episode that Ed has uh, been all over the world, has traveled, has been a veteran. Thank you for your service, and is devoting his life to recognizing our heroes in all areas. And looking forward, Ed, today to hearing your story and chatting with you about what what your mission is now.
Well,
So
thank you.
yeah. Oh, so how's your day going?
It's been pretty busy as always. I start off my morning taking care of my three dogs, and then finding time to play a little pickleball. Actually, it was just
Oh,
practice.
yeah. That's a great game. I picked up a little racquetball. I've been doing that, but pickleball is a ton of fun.
It's the fastest growing sport in America right now.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. When I go in to get any equipment, if I have to get something for my racquetball, I have to weed through all the uh, pickleball stuff anymore in the sporting goods store. It's crazy. So Ed, I'm gonna read a little bit of your bio. So you are the founder of Honoring USA Heroes.
That is
We're going
correct.
to talk about that today. And you're the son of a U.S. Navy retiree. You're the oldest of five children, and you were born in the Philippines.
Yes, I was born there for the first 5 years of my life.
Okay, and then you came here to the U.S. and you became a citizen at age 12.
Yeah, I had to go through that process and to become a citizen. And at 12 years old, it was uh,
Did your whole family do that as well, or just you?
it was just
Obviously,
me, my
Dad.
brother, me, my brother and sister, the three of us that was born in the Philippines.
I
And,
see. Okay,
and then I had two younger sisters that was born here. So,
okay. So five kids. That's a lot of kids.
back then, it seems like the goal of most families was to have a large family.
Yeah,
And
I got when I was a kid, I spent a summer in Idaho on a farm. It was a ranch, really, and they had 10 kids. And so, yeah, every night it was like there was an old show. Remember the show called The Waltons?
yeah,
And yeah, and every night they would say goodnight to each other, and that
wow.
was what they did and I still remember mine. It was good night, Ron, Ray, Marianne, Dave, Tim, Joe, Bob, Frank, Linda, Mom, and Dad. That and everybody in the house would say that. It was so much fun. Well, I digress. But so you enlisted in the Navy, and it was September 73. I was I think a freshman in high school, and you were enlisting in the Navy, and you went into the hospital. You were a hospital corpsman on your first tour of duty at the end of Vietnam era.
That's correct.
How did that
73
feel
to
going
78.
into that?
What's that?
That was a crazy war.
It was, I came in towards the tail end of it, and so most of the people that was involved in Vietnam were uh, people with mental illness or just PTSD
Hmm.
issue, you
Hmm.
know. So I had to deal with some of that, um, but most of the time I was a corpsman working in the emergency room, and then later worked in the ear, nose, and throat department. Became an ear, nose, and throat technician, and left the service in '78 and joined
Hmm.
the Navy joined the reserve in Hawaii, and that's where uh,
Yeah,
I
you
wanted
looks
something
like you
different.
re-enlisted.
Yeah, we're kind of re-enlisted into the
What
reserve.
are you nuts? Yeah, it sounds like you had some cool duty. Tell us about that. You were in the dive corps.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you want to do something, once you set your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I joined the reserve, they asked me where I wanted to go. Do I want to join the reserve that works at the clinic at Pearl Harbor, or do I want to join the Fleet Marine Force, FMF?
Mm-hmm.
And then they offered me another possibility. Hey, we have a harbor clearance unit out here that needs a corpsman, but they need a diving corpsman. And I said, oh, what do you have to do to become a diver? And they said, well, you have to pass the physical exams that all the divers go through. Plus, you have to be able to swim. I believe it was like 300 yards and in 15 minutes. And
That's
I
not easy to
really
do. That's you got to
not
be.
easy to do when swimming was not my forte at that time. I could run,
Uh-huh.
I can do all the physical stuff, but be in the water. And I joined the Navy, and they have a basic swim test that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine was like swimming at the end one to the other end of the pool and back, and then be able to float for 15 minutes using the pants that you had on. You take that off and you tie the ends and put it around your. And so if you can stay afloat for 15 minutes doing that, you're in the Navy. That was my
Okay. All
swimming
right.
experience. But when I joined the reserves, I said, I didn't want to work in the clinic. I didn't want to work with the Marines, but I wanted to do the outside, be outside and in the water. So I interviewed for the position the next day, and they told me this is what I need to do.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So the following day, I went to this lagoon in Hawaii called Alawana Park. It's 1,000 meters long,
Mm-hmm.
and you start at one end, swim as far as you can, and my goal was to be able to swim all the way up and all the way back. Well, on the first day, Jim, I came out wearing this inflatable life jacket that the UDT had,
Mm-hmm.
that the reserve had given me, and I went in the water. I swam 25 yards, and I cut to the right because that was the beach. And I called it the day. I came back the next day, and I went a little further. As I got tired, I cut to the right. The beach
Okay.
was only like 15, 20 feet away from me as I started swimming. I did that every day. And I eventually, I think in about 6 months, I was able to swim the whole 1,000 yards and back.
Wow,
Okay.
that's great.
And
It's that one
in eight
percent, isn't
months,
it? It's just being consistent, and just keep moving a little bit further every day.
exactly.
I love
And
that.
then, like I said, 8.5 months, I think I did the 2.5 mile rough water swim from Diamond Head to Waikiki Beach.
Wow, that's insane. Well, congratulations. What was in you that made you want to do that?
I don't know. It's just something in me, I guess, that once I set my mind to it, I'm gonna do it.
That takes
You know.
dedication,
And
real
so
dedication. I know diving's not easy too. I'm a advanced ocean paddy diver, and that's compared to what you've done. That's a piece of cake.
hell is um, I did my in-dock dive wearing a big brass helmet, the hard hat,
Okay,
and
with the lead boots.
with the lead boots. Yes, yeah, 185 pounds of gear. You're
How
walking down
deep
this.
were you going?
Well, my we were qualified to go to 300 feet deep as a
Wow.
first class deep sea diver, you know, and uh, halfway into my training, we switched over from a lighter gear, almost fiberglass helmets and stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah, but as a diving medic, you had to qualify to go down to 300 feet and be able to take care of anybody with problems, medical or problems in the
Hmm.
ocean, and go into the chamber, as we call it, the hyperbaric chamber.
Hmm.
I
Wow,
was I was more
that's real
interested.
serious stuff. Being down 300 feet, things can go sideways real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's a lot of pressure down there. When you
very
were down, how long could you stay down there without having to deal with decompression?
well. 60 for 60 was one of our rules. You know, you can go down to 60 feet for 60 minutes and come back up. Anything longer than that, then we would have the different tables
Right.
that you would come up to the surface, make your what we call a 10-foot stop,
Uh-huh.
and and
So
I
you're
can't remember
attached
all the
though,
time.
right? You've got an air hose going
Oh
up.
yeah, you're attached to the surface.
So
That's
you're not dealing with all the tanks and all that.
no,
But you got to
no.
trust whoever's up top.
That is the main thing: is trusting the people that you're working with. You know, and trusting the supervisors, your tenders, and the making sure that the equipment upstairs that's giving you air is working. That's
Yeah.
their job.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of that?
uh, Actually, supervising some of the jobs because
What kind of things did you
and
get into doing?
oh, very with my reserve unit, we got to go to uh, Palawan Islands in Palau,
Okay.
and there were some very interesting uh, dives out there. We got to see sunken Japanese ships,
Hmm.
sunken uh, Japanese warplanes, you know, and
Wow.
yeah, I got to see some nice friendly sharks too out
Oh, I
there.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it
And then
was.
I see you were with a group doing veterinary work with the dolphins, seals, and beluga whales.
Yes. So I decided to come back in on active duty back in 1989. So from 78 to 89, I was in the reserves, and 89 uh, decided to come back in, and not knowing where the Navy was going to put me, they sent me to Point Loma here in San Diego.
Oh yeah, my daughter went to school there.
Yeah, it's a very nice community out there, and they have
Mhm.
a marine mammals program. And
Okay.
so that was the design was for me to come back in and relieve another medic. He was a hospital corpsman. He was a SEAL team corpsman. And
Hmm.
so I relieved him. And a month after I got there, they sent me to Walter Reed to become a veterinary technician so I can help maintain the health and fitness of our marine mammals. Yeah.
So does the Navy have dolphins and seals and beluga whales that they train for special operations or
They did. Just like they trained some of their dolphins to be security. Like uh, on land, we have German shepherds in patrol with their trainers
Mhm.
going around making sure that there's nobody crawling under or going over fences in certain areas. Well,
Right?
basically, dolphins were used to help with that, but in the water.
Interesting. So I see like like a Doberman Pinscher would be a really good watchdog. What kind of dog, if a dolphin were a dog in that role, what kind of dog would they be?
Oh, uh, yeah, dolphins are very trainable. They're very
Mhm.
trained. They're very
Oh
food
yeah, really
oriented.
smart. They're really smart.
Really smart. Yes, and so they can be trained just about to do anything. You know,
Okay.
and so yeah.
So I've seen pictures of them taking care of sharks and protecting other people even from a
Mhm.
shark attack by just, ramming the sharks and
You can train. Dolphins are very intelligent mammals out there, and
yeah.
they can be. They're very food oriented. You know,
Mhm.
and once they learn how to uh, do their job for food, they'll keep doing it.
Interesting. So, what did you get to be friends with any of those critters? And did you? It's like for me, having a dog, that's like the part of the family, right?
Yeah.
They're a friend. And were these critters, could they possibly be a friend, or were they completely
Well,
work?
they worked with their specific trainers,
Okay.
and I work along with the trainers. The trainers would give the commands, and for the dolphins to come alongside, roll over. I would break out my stethoscope, or I would draw blood on them, and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That was, and yeah,
That would be such a cool job. Did you enjoy that?
I did. I really did. It was a position that not too many of my compatriots were offered, and definitely when the word got out that I landed that position, the people were calling me and said, "How did you get that position there?" Yeah,
Wow. Well, yeah, it sounds like a great job. And right down in San Diego.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Very rarely do I wear uniforms down there, other than my swim shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah.
And then you kind of switched gears, really switched gears. You ended up going with a team of expats
Yeah,
to Kuwait.
to Kuwait. What happened was, remember, 1989, September, I came back in on active duty. A month
Mhm.
later, in October, the Iron Wall came down. And that kind of started changing the needs of the service. Uh, uh, about a year later, we had Desert Storm, and that didn't last very long,
Mhm.
about 30 days. And
They're
the
still dealing
this,
with all that, though, aren't they?
yeah, the discussion was to reduce the forces at that time. And
Mhm.
being a reservist on active duty, I was one of the first ones to go,
Yeah.
and wasn't prepared for that because I was preparing myself to make the Navy a career.
Okay.
And, and so when that happened, I had to, in fact, I reached out to the corpsman that I replaced, and told him, or asked him, if he had known of any position available for me to get into.
Mhm.
15 minutes later, after I talked to him, he calls me back and it said, "Ed, this is your lucky day." I go, "What do you mean?" Says, "My boss just asked me if I knew a corpsman with EOD experience to be able to take a job in Kuwait."
Lucky day.
Yeah, lucky day.
From the frying pan into the fire.
Oh,
So
so
how was that experience? I mean, I know there is some pretty nasty stuff going on there.
there was, I mean, well, I wouldn't say nasty. It was the one reason why they were looking for uh, corpsmen with EOD experience to come out, because they had some accidents out there, and they had uh, uh, two medics, actually three medics from Jordanian medics. Okay,
Mhm.
and they had an accident out there at one of the airfields, and as when they say, when shit hit the fan, there was no more communication. Everything
Mhm.
was in Arabic, or the three medics were just talking away, and nobody could understand them.
Mhm.
And from that point on, they said, we need a medic that can talk English around here.
Okay.
So that's when they reached out to my friend, who turned around and called me back after I spoke with them. And I end up going to joining the company. It's a private company.
Mhm.
Uh, I believe the company was from Pakistan. Yeah.
Okay.
And
How was that
So,
experience? What was that like on a day-to-day basis?
well, it was everyone there was all Americans. It was uh, American leaders, American technicians working,
Hmm.
and so the only ones that weren't Americans were our translator, and we had uh, a team of Gurkhas from
Hmm.
Nepal,
Okay.
and they were EOD technicians. So, but they
EOD,
were
what is that again?
explosive ordnance demolition team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, playing with those firecrackers.
Yes. So yeah, that was the environment I went into
Okay.
out there, and so we had some pretty interesting events that happened out there.
Can you share any of that?
I Yeah, I can share one of them was we had one of our supervisors. We were up along the DMZ of Iraq and Kuwait,
DMZ, that's the
the
demilitarized zone.
demilitarized zone, right?
Okay.
And it was on the border, and just so happened that our one of our supervisors was out along the border, and there were some visitors from the north, from Iraq, that came down and invited him over to Iraq and never returned him. So uh, we had that was very interesting. We had uh, President Bush gave an order to release them,
Hmm.
and Saddam Hussein said, "Okay, we'll release them back to you." So he got to fly back on one of the uh, our American jets coming back. They went over and picked him up. So that was one of the interesting things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's historic. Really cool. So, and then a you have a service dog.
Yes, I
Even up to
Cole,
present day more. You have a service dog named Cole.
correct.
Tell
Cole
us about
was
Cole.
Cole is a black lab. He's 14 years old now, but I got him when he was 2 years old.
Okay.
And Cole is just an amazing dog. When we acquired him, I wasn't sure what he can do other than being a good, loyal dog.
Hmm.
And he, the first thing I taught him what to do was to pick up a newspaper and carry it in. That
Okay.
was our little trip, morning walks to come back, and there's a newspaper in front of our garage. So I picked it up and I said, "Cole, carry." No problem at all. He just opened his mouth and carried it in. From that point on, every morning I would say, "Go get the paper." He would go get the paper and bring it back in.
All right. Gotta
So,
love that. They're so smart. It's
oh,
and they love to serve. They love to help.
they do. They just want to make you happy,
Hmm.
and one of the things that I started doing was have him go get my shoes, the paper, then I realized that I would love to have him look for things for me when I can't find them.
Ah,
Because
okay.
one of those things that I wanted him to do was to find the keys, find my keys.
Okay.
As I did not realize that whenever my wife said, "Where are the keys?" I would yell at her and say, "I don't know," kind
Mm.
of, you know. And I realized what had happened to me is an experience I had back in 1976 when I was going to school for ear, nose, and throat in Bethesda, Maryland.
Hmm.
On one Saturday morning, I worked in the morgue and with the doctor. I had to open the place up for him and close it down. Later on that afternoon, we were closing the clinic and I was in the back room. The next thing I know, both our doctors, there was two doctors working that day, and they come in surprised at the door. They just kind of looked right past me. Next thing I know, they were just heading towards the ground. And and we had one guy behind him with a gun.
Mm.
They all went down to the floor, and I looked at the gun, and I said, "Oh, and he said to get down on the floor. So I went down on the floor. The other medic, that was the other corpsman that was there with your corpsman, he slides underneath the bunk, and I slide next to him.
Mm.
And the next thing I know is the guy's asking for the keys. Who's got the keys? Thinking he wanted the keys to the clinic. So I
Mm.
said, "Here, I got the keys." And I gave it to him. And he had an accomplice that came by, got the keys from him, went over to our medicine room or treatment room. And next thing you know, I'm hearing he's trying to open their medicine cabinet. And he
Mm.
goes out and says, these aren't the keys. These are not the keys. So the guy with the gun comes and put it on my neck or my head and says, "Where are the keys?" I go, "I don't know. I don't know where the keys are at."
Mm.
Next thing I know, we hear this big crash, and the guy his accomplice going, "I got it." So when he's he goes running out and he says, "Don't anybody move for the next 5 minutes," or you know, I we all didn't move for the next 5 minutes. But that moment, and whenever someone asked me for the keys, I would kind of get a little antsy, and I would say, "I don't know. I don't know where the keys are at." I used Cole, my lab, to find me my keys, so I can take my anxiety over to redirect it and say, "My dog Cole's gonna go find my keys," and he did. He would go find my keys,
Ah,
and then he would find my wallet, my eyeglasses, my watch. I just go like this. My watch. I go like this for my wallet, and,
mm-hmm.
or I go like this for my eyeglasses. And he would look at me, and then he'd go out looking around the place, you know. And being as big as he is, he loved to carry things. So I ended up teaching him how to carry uh, carry groceries in from the car by using this little device called a click and carry. You know, a really smart device. It looks like a little bone shape. It opens up. You could put straps on it. You could put plastic bags. The handles like the plastic grocery bags.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole would carry that around. You know,
Mm.
help me carry things out of the car. And he would also carry beer for me.
Did he make you breakfast too?
Now, Cole was such a big boy, he can carry an 18 pack of beer using that little device, the click and carry.
Wow.
Yeah. And that little device, I we've done so much with it. I even attached to cans. And Cole was such a help, he loved to help. And
Mm-hmm.
I joined a club out here called Kiwanis back
Yeah.
in 2017.
Okay.
And the first day I was at the meeting, it was in November, they were doing a bell ringing for the Salvation Army. They asked me if I could like to volunteer. I said, sure. The next question I asked them was, can I bring my dog? They all
Mm.
kind of looked at each other and said, sure, you can bring your dog. So Cole and I shows up at Stater Brothers here in Temecula.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing this baseball hat with reindeer antlers,
Mm-hmm.
Merry Christmas on there. He's wearing a yellow or his Christmas sweater, and with stockings, he walks out and he's holding this little stocking that says, "Please give to the Salvation Army."
Oh.
And he was using that click and carry device, and he would sit in front of the bucket, and I would ring the bell, and he would just sit there and look at people walk by. And sometimes he would just stand there looking, and if he moves, people go, "I thought that was the stuffed animal." And he would just look at him and holding that stocking, and the people could not walk by without putting some money in there.
Oh,
And we filled that bucket the first day we were there, or his first opportunity, you know. And ever since then, he became a member of Kiwanis. First, they told me, Ed, we will love to approve your membership to Kiwanis, but you have to bring your dog in.
yeah.
And so they made Cole as an honorary member of Kiwanis, and for the last 5 years, or the next 5 years, we've just been filling buckets. And Cole's been such a big part of my life. And we would do fundraising for Rady's children. Michelle's place, we did one for Michelle's place out here.
Mm-hmm.
And we just, a couple of years ago, he helped out with Reality Rally in an hour's time. We went around Old Town. He had over $300.
Wow.
You know, people are making donation because they just could not resist seeing a dog carrying a bucket around.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a service. That's great.
That's my service dog.
Yeah, that's a real service dog too. So is Cole still around?
You know, yes, he is. And I hate to say that he's coming into the time of his life where I have to make that decision here.
It's a tough one.
It
make
is.
It myself.
So, but I need to do this for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's being a big dog, a Labrador especially, they go through a lot of arthritic problems as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you said he's what, 14 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's older than most of that type of dog.
Yeah, well, I forgot to mention he was a surf dog too.
That's true. Wow. Did you get some pictures of him?
Oh yeah, I do have some pictures of him surfing. And so,
oh, cool.
I mentioned that because this is how I got tied into what I do now to honor our fallen heroes. And I was taking Cole surfing on September 10th, 2019.
Uh-huh.
And onwards to Del Mar Beach. And on the way there, I was just having to be listening to a radio station.
Where the surf meets the turf.
Where the surf meets the turf, Del Mar Beach, correct. And I was taking him surfing that day, and I was listening to a radio station that had a senior fire chief from New York City talking about 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the number of people dying from cancer from 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm dying from cancer. And my predecessor had died. But I made peace with the Lord, and I'm ready to go. And what really got me next was that what he said is that what hurts him the most is that this generation is forgetting about what happened on 9/11 and the heroes of 9/11. Jim, when I heard that, I started to cry, and I yelled at Cole, I can help. I can help keep those memories alive. And that's what I've been doing now, helping keep the memories alive of our fallen heroes, not just of 9/11, but all our heroes that are giving their life for our country.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because as you know, I grew up in the Philippines. I know what life is like out there. And I know what life was like once we moved out here, joined my father. We have so many friends and relatives that they've heard so much about what life is like here in the United States. They would give anything to come here. Yeah. We've sponsored a lot of our relatives to come to enjoy this beautiful country. And this beautiful country is only made possible by those who gave their lives before us so that we can live and have the opportunities to be successful, to to live our dreams as Americans here. And
Beautiful.
that's, you know, and I realize that we should never forget our heroes. In fact, I did have a profit business where I create memorial pictures of family members.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was selling these at car shows, at state fairs, or wherever I can get in front of people, the Balloon and Wine Festival here in Temecula,
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, beautiful pictures are on these flat panel speaker systems that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I sold a lot of was immortalize your loved ones, keep their memories alive. So so that when you're living life, have music playing from these pictures, so that when you have new friends and they say, you know what, Jim, I've had several drinks and I can't find that speaker where that music is coming from. That gives you an opportunity to say, see the picture on the wall of my mom, my dad, my brother, who, they're playing it for us. And people are going, what? That picture is a speaker? They walk up to it and they feel the vibration and they go, oh my God, it is. But now they're in front of the picture. All they can ask is maybe, she's lovely. He's handsome. What was she like? What were they? Asking questions.
That's so
And
cool.
so when they ask the question, sometimes they may get a little emotional. And when you find emotion with music playing in the background, and I always say that to say, yes, I remember my high school days when I asked this young lady to slow dance with me. And it took me a lot of guts to ask her. And when she said yes, I couldn't dance. I just kind of held her.
It's a moment. It's a moment you remember forever.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And that's what we're doing, is creating moments that when people hear that music again, they think about this moment in time of sharing. That never goes away. And that's how we're going to keep the memories going.
Let me bring up the website. So is this the website that you talk about these speaker pictures?
Yes, the Honoring USA Heroes picture. Exactly. Because
so you have memorials for 9/11, firefighters, law enforcement, first responders, and U.S. military.
Right. We're going to make some adjustments to this website here. This here is the Tunnels of Towers. We had that mobile exhibit that came to.
I saw that. I didn't get an opportunity to go through it, but I did see it when it was here at the mall.
Yeah, that was last November.
Important to remember that.
It is so true. So much has happened. So many, over 7,000 of our military personnel that joined the service after 9/11 had lost their lives for our country. And, we need to keep those memories alive of each one of those 7,000 young men and women that went overseas to fight terrorism and so forth. So, yeah.
Very good.
There's my contact information there. Yeah.
So let's talk about the
firefighters or
firefighters. You want to talk about them?
Yeah. And so this one here is talking about our 9/11 heroes. And we have pictures of our 9/11 heroes, as you can see here. Our 343 firefighters that gave their life that day. And each of those you can click on and read a little of their bio.
That's
And I
really
ask my visitors out there to, if you go through a bio and you like, you know, you want to do something for the family because something in this bio might affected you in a way. Make a donation, sponsor that picture for that hero so that we can make this presentation to them. You know, the 25th anniversary is coming up on September 11, 2026.
Okay.
And I would have loved, as another goal, I set my goals high, is to present as much or all the heroes that died on 9/11 a memorial picture to the family so that they can pass it on to their children and they can play music on it. And so when they're living life, someone will ask, where's that music coming from? And they can talk about their grandfather, their brother, you know, their sister who gave their life for our country that day. And while
So is
listening
this
to music,
just an
hearing the
example of
stories.
the?
Yes, this is firefighter Kenneth Thomas Watson. Okay. He was sponsored by Staff Sergeant here, George Frank Fisher, lives out in Escondido. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So private citizens can sponsor this. It doesn't have to be a business organization. It doesn't have to be a nonprofit like Kiwanis, the Rotary. Okay. Anyone who wants to honor the families with a beautiful picture like these, all they have to do is go through the bios, and if that reading the bios affect you in some way and you want to help the family out by providing a memorial picture, please do so. Just reach out to me and say, Ed, I read the story of this one firefighter would like to do something for the family. Okay. And we provide a 16 by 20 memorial picture, just like what you see there. It is framed. And this one here is Douglas Miller. He's sponsored by a Rotary Club here in Riverside. Yeah. And so, and these pictures are paired to a Bluetooth device, like an MP3 player, your phone, your cell phone, and it'll play any music. One of our heroes' daughter, who's a firefighter in New York City at the same station, Rebecca Asaro, her father was Carl Asaro, and Carl loved the Grateful Dead. And
Okay.
yeah. And when they would have barbecues, he was always playing Grateful Dead music. So now guess what they're playing from that picture speaker that they have? Grateful Dead, you know. And so that was sponsored by a Kiwanis Club out of San Clemente. And I asked them, why did you want to sponsor this picture of Carl Asaro? And Kiwanians, or Kiwanis Club, we're all about the children. And so anything that we could do to help the children. And they said Carl Asaro had 4 children that he wanted. And so they decided to select him and honor him. There's Mike Cole there.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah, he's at the State of the City with our mayor at that time.
That's in Pechanga.
Yep, at Pechanga there. This is one of our realtors here, and she sponsored one of the heroes of Engine 54 Ladder 4. Yeah.
Very nice.
This is there's Cole again. There's and this picture is a SEAL team member who was killed in Afghanistan, and they created a foundation in his honor, the C4 Foundation. Uh,
Mm.
that's Charles Keating IV. And we presented that to his widow, Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, that's my
Very
wife, my beautiful wife there, and me. Rarely seen without a hat.
nice. All right. Handsome dude. And there's Mr.
And
Rubio.
yeah, you know, Al Rubio from DCH Honda there.
Yeah.
They're sponsored a hero there.
Excellent. Well,
And
you've
this
got,
is,
oh,
she was one of two female police officers that was killed that day.
she's from
She's from New York,
New
a
York.
police
Yeah.
officer from the New York Port Authority.
Mm-hmm.
And Apostone Supply out of Paris sponsored this picture of police officer Mariah and Reddy Smith.
Mm.
Yeah, we've had some great organization, very patriotic organization, you know, wanting to help out and honor the heroes. Yeah. This is Joseph Angelini Jr. I say junior because there was also a senior, Joseph Angelini Sr. That was both had died 9/11.
Really?
Yes, father and son. Kiwanis Club of Temecula Valley sponsored this
So
picture.
beautiful that you're doing this for the families and for us to remember this. So important.
It is. You know, we owe it to them. You know.
Yeah. How did you come up with that idea to do that?
When, like I said, that story on that senior fire chief saying that what hurts them is that this generation's forgetting about what happened on 9/11. If this generation's forgetting them, there's no more story to tell.
Right.
Okay. And these pictures is just a way that we can keep their memories going when they play music out of it. And when someone, like I said, it's just kind of something to create laughter. Is that when I say that I've had too much to drink and I can't find that speaker where that music is coming from.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's like,
I guess when we go to parties, I don't know if you, Jim, but when I go to a party and I hear music, my ears always turn me to where that speaker's at.
Oh yeah, I love music. Absolutely.
And then once I know where the music is coming from, hey, I can go on the rest of the party and not worry.
Yeah. Really, it adds to the energy. So you have an event coming up for some pickleball, I hear.
Yeah. So we've made an agreement with SoCal Pickleball here in Temecula. It's off of Winchester Road. It's a indoor facility. So that's why we're going to have it in the month of August when it's hot out here. Yeah. And what we're going to do is honor the heroes here locally. When I say here locally, we're going to reach out to LA Police, San Diego Police, San Diego Fire, LA Fire, and Riverside County, and our local Cal Fire department out here. We want active duty and retired players from those services to participate, and it's a double elimination. And find out which of the services has the best pickleball players out here. We intended to have this as a fun thing, but I hear there's some pretty good pickleball players who are firefighters and policemen out there.
Oh,
Some
I
were
bet.
even,
Yeah.
some were even, very involved in pickleball, but also were our
Yeah.
firefighters and
There's some
police.
serious players out there.
So it's going to be interesting. I really want to see, and it is a fundraiser for what we do to honor the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and honoring heroes has been a pretty a full-time job for me to go out fundraise so that I can create these memorial pictures, find a way to have them presented to the family, and because my goal is to have these pictures presented to the family before the memorial. After the memorial, it gets a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And so uh, having the funds, someone goes down the minute I hear from our social media, our news, I get those pictures created, and within 3 or 4 days, that picture is over. It's back to me, and I do the rest of the work of framing them and then shipping them out to the department so that they can have it available to the family on the Memorial Day. So they
Very
can
nice.
take it home. So it's just been a lot of work for me, and I don't always have the resources to. So I'll just having not having the resources keeps me focused to, okay, I just got to go out and do some more fundraising. Once I get this, I'll reach out to an organization to present this picture to the family. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 pictures of our SEAL team members that was their memorial on base in Coronado will be around April 23rd. I'll get those pictures out to them. But then there's those 5 Marines that was killed in that helicopter crash. I've got the 5 pictures. Now I'm just going to have to try to get it out to a department or an organization in their home city so they can make that presentation to them, to the surviving family members.
Beautiful. Yeah. So if someone's looking to help, and if they'd like to donate or if they'd like to help, you have a get involved.
They can make a donation if they would like to see what they can do to help me in going forward, whether it's finance or volunteering some time to help. Because I'm one of the things I'm going to need is a committee, an advisory board to help me plan out my plan of attack, you might say. How do we raise money? How do we put this pickleball tournament on? Someone who's experienced on running an event like that. I can use all the help I can get. So.
Very good. So if they want to get in touch, they can go to the website, or if they'd like to donate or partner by being a sponsor.
Yes, there's sponsorships available. That's another thing I would like the advisory board to help me out with the getting sponsorships on this. So,
yeah, that'd be great. You bring a crowd in for some pickleball, and you'll have interest from sponsors.
Yeah, I've just been putting the word out, and I've been getting a lot of, I want to do this. I want to get involved. I want to play. I said, okay.
Excellent.
And, it's going to be a first come, first serve. So we're, maybe after this year, we'll figure out those who participate, we'll get to know who they are on their skill levels. So next year, definitely whoever wins it will be the top seed for next year.
Very good. Yeah. You're creating a legacy of heroes here. So you can make a one-time donation, or you can set up a recurring donation.
That's correct.
So, excellent.
And if you make a recurring donation, I don't have it up there yet, but you can definitely, if they make a $10 donation or monthly donation, they'll get one of my flags, the black flag with the red, green, and blue lines on there, with the wording on the stars, "Never forget USA Heroes," on there.
Nice. Well, Ed, thank you so much for spending time with me on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Got one more question. You got time for one more?
Sure.
I asked this of everybody on the show. So taking a look at your whole life, even maybe when you were in the Philippines, when you were 5, what was the boldest leadership decision that you've made, and what were the consequences?
I think the boldest, it's kind of been my story. I go for it. I go for it, and I learn from my own experience. There's a lot of programs out there to teach you how to take the steps and go. And my problem, I guess, when I have an idea, I just take the step forward and keep on going. And so
that's been a theme in your life. It sounds like to me, you have that ability to just do it, and I love that. From from the very beginning, you just make a decision and you go. And even when you couldn't swim, you learned how to swim a distance so you could get in the position that you wanted to be in. And then you've learned the core work, helping people in distress, and then helping the veterinary crew in the Navy with the critters, the dolphins and exotic animals. I mean, that's really out there. I mean, that takes some real chutzpah, I think.
Well, I was lucky because there was a team of people below me, or that handle all that, and I just came along and did the veterinary work.
Okay. Well, still, I mean, that's like, you probably didn't know much about that, but you just went and did it.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out on the way there, right? I love that. So,
no, thank you very much.
Inspiration.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ed, and thank you for serving the way you do, and for being an honorable part of the community, and for inspiring us all to remember our heroes.
Definitely. We have to give thanks to our heroes for what we have.
Yeah. Reach out to Ed at honoringusaheroes.org. And he's looking for anybody that would like to spend some time volunteering or for donations. And it's going to a good place.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah. Thank you, Ed. Hang on a sec. I'm going to end the broadcast, and we'll chat for a bit. Bye, everybody.